changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration. It's Motivational Monday, and today I'm going to share one of those ideas that is so easy to implement and so obvious, and yet so worth repeating. Every so often, I just have to share one of these stories about the power of smiling to change everything. This particular story is called Try a Smile, and it was one of the 101 stories that I chose from something like 5,000 submissions to our book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Power of Positive. It's by Farida Wolf, a wonderful writer who we've published many times because she so unselfishly shares her good advice and her personal experiences with us, good or bad. Farida tells us that she was at the post office early one morning, hoping to get in and out fast. She had a busy day ahead of her, but she found herself standing in such a long line that it snaked through the roped-off lanes in the post office and out into the hallway. It wasn't tax day or pre-Christmas, so Farida was baffled, but she had a package to ship, so she had no alternative but to wait in line for it to be weighed. And she seemed to be behind everyone else in the world, all carrying packages they needed to ship too. The line was moving excruciatingly slowly, and Farida was starting to get annoyed and then even angry. By the time she got to the counter, she was not exactly being nice. She was curt with the person behind the counter, and she strode out of that post office looking pretty peeved. She even pushed past some people as she tried to exit, saying, "Excuse me," a bit aggressively on the way out. She was still scowling as she hurried into the parking lot to get to her car and rush off to her dentist appointment. And then Farida saw her, a woman just like Farida. She was walking briskly, each step pounding into the ground. Her forehead was furrowed, and she looked like she could breathe fire if she wanted to. Farida wondered, did she look like that too? Is that how she had come off to all the people at the post office? The woman looked like she was having a bad day, and all of a sudden Farida's own anger over the slow service at the post office melted away. She just wanted to make that other woman feel better, but she only had a fraction of a second to do so. So she decided to smile at the woman, who looked startled and then confused, and then her face softened and her shoulders relaxed. And she took a deep breath and she slowed that determined walk. And she smiled back at Farida. Wow, thought Farida, that was easy. Look what a simple smile can do. For the rest of that day, Farida focused on other people's expressions and on her own, noticing how plainly most of us show our emotions on our faces. Now, when Farida sees someone who is obviously having a bad day, she smiles. And usually that changes the energy of the situation, and she gets a smile back. And she actually watches the emotions on the face of the other person change. A smile really is a powerful tool, and it's one that we all have on us all the time. I know I've said this in the past on the podcast, but it bears repeating. A smile is a boomerang. When you throw one out there, it invariably comes right back at you. Tomorrow's Tip Tuesday, and we're going to talk again about things that I've learned from our books. From many of them, in fact, I'm going to pass on 6 tips for reducing stress that I've learned from editing more than 10,000 Chicken Soup for the Soul stories. I'm Amy Newmark. Thank you for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. If you'd like to read more easy-to-implement tips from Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Power of Positive, which is all about the power of positive thinking and easy things you can do like smiling, then please go to our website, chickensoup.com.